Hello, BookTube. I was on my way out the door to go mail some books off to someone, and then to go to the hardware store with my son for some projects he's working on. But at the door were two boxes from Hyde Cottage, from Steve Donahue and Frida Bean. And yeah, so I thought I'd share with you. It's two boxes, so, and they're pretty heavy, so I'm excited to see what's in them. So let me open the first one here, and then we'll find out. Sometimes they have this tape on them. Yeah, let me do this. It's always nice to have a knife around. Let's see. This knife is a buck knife, and it's made with wood from the restoration of old Ironsides down in Boston. So it seems sort of appropriate to use it here. Collectors out there will be having a heart attack that I'm using it, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's a knife. I'm using it. Even has a copper rivet from the vessel. So let's see here. These are the same kind of boxes I'm going to use when I send the package off to him. So the glue on them is great. Okay, what do we have here? Mutiny on the Globe: The Fatal Voyage of Samuel Comstock by Thomas Farrell Heffernan. Excuse me. Wonderful. Love the cover. I actually know about this book. This is great. We have the end papers. I'll get this out of your way so you can actually see what I'm doing here. And this is W.W. Norton and Company, New York. And this is from 2002. South Street in New York, back in the day. Samuel Comstock was born with a sense of destiny that is sometimes granted to great artists and leaders of men. In his case, it was the mark of Cain. Though he had vowed from his childhood that he would do some great thing, his only legacy was a reign of terror. And that is true. So, very nice, Steve. Glad to have this. Let me put this knife out of the way so I can put these on here. Oh, and then a dust jacket. One of my favorite nautical writers of all time is Alan Villiers, and I've been collecting his stuff for a long time. And this is great, by way of Cape Horn. Adventure and excitement aboard a full-rig sailing ship. A writer, if you see him anywhere, is well worth getting. So here's some of his other books. Here, I'll just hold it up so you can look at it. And this is very exciting. This will have, let's see where I'm at here. Oh, it has an old birthday note in it. It says, "Here is a tale of salty spray, and we hope you've not just read it yesterday." A little poetry. Happy birthday. Sales and Emily, and this book is from 1930 and 1952, so it's a reprint. Just lovely. All about going around Cape Horn, which Alan Villiers did, and he did it in sailing vessels. So he's as a writer, he's one of the last of the great wooden ship authors around. So wonderful. I think he was either from New Zealand or Australia. I think it was, or Tasmania. Wait a minute. Oh, let me see. This it has a bookshop stamp from Providence, Rhode Island, too. I find these in books quite often, and I love seeing where the books were sold originally. As late as the 1930s, huge square rig sailing ships still carried wheat from Australia. That's true. By the way of Cape Horn, Alan Villiers and his friend Ronald Walker sailed the Grace Harwa in order to make a motion picture record of life aboard one of the last full-rig deep-sea sailing ships. They wanted to capture some of the stirring beauty of these ships, something of the glory of their wanderings and the courage of their battles with the sea. Some shadow of the spirit of these lovely old sea wanderers. of the attraction which they would hold for those who sail in them. So yeah, he captured an era that was on its way out, unfortunately. Then, oh my goodness, look at this. Mutiny on the Bounty, Peter Fitzsimmons. I have not read this, and I'm not even sure I knew about this. How exciting is that? This is Hatchet Australia. How do you find this? Wow, this is 2018. It's a fairly new book. I did not know about it. This will go right to the top of TBR. There's no way I can hold off on this. And this is, we know about the Mutiny on the Bounty, so I don't want to read about all that. So, yeah, it's just a new, looks like soup to nut history of that, and that will be exciting to read. Well illustrated, too. How neat is this? Wow. One I did not know about. Oh my God, where does he find these? I know where he finds them, the Brattle, right? This is amazing. Beyond the Capes, Pacific Exploration from Captain Cook to the Challenger, 1776 to 1877 by Ernest S. Dodge. Look at this thing. This is a beautiful book. Look at it. Wow. And papers are magnificent. Fantastic. Beyond the Cape of Good Hope to the east and Cape Horn to the west lies the vast ocean world of the Pacific. Magellan was the first Westerner to venture on these waters. 3 centuries later, Captain James Cook seemingly brought the great age of Pacific exploration to a close. Yet the history of Pacific exploration did not end with Cook. During the 100 years following his death, the Pacific was the setting for countless new voyages of exploration, expeditions that resulted in major geographical discoveries, in the charting of tens of thousands of miles of coastline, and the collections of scientific and cultural data of the utmost importance. Beyond the Capes is the story of this forgotten century, the dramatic chronicle of the intrepid men who filled the broad Pacific canvas left by Captain Cook. This looks fantastic. Wow, what a beautiful production. He's a director. Dodge was the director of the celebrated Peabody Museum of Salem at Daily Accident Museum's magnificent library and historic ethnological collections. Yeah, and he was able to use that collection for ethnographic and obviously nautical information. What a beautiful book, huh? Look at this thing. So what? This was Little Brown and Company, Boston. And this is 1971 first edition. This is quite a book. Wow. 2, 3, 4 books in a row. It's fantastic. And then, let's see if I'm going to have to chop this tape on this one. Yeah, I'll grab that. How much fun was that? Wow. Gotta get to the second box, and I'm sitting here wanting to read the first box. Let's see. Well, you book collectors can yell at me. Knife collectors can yell at me later for using this knife. There. All right. Let me get this open. Oh my gosh, I can see the first one. Holy smokes! Look at this! Look at this! A classic. One I had years ago and don't have anymore. Like I say, Steve must know my shelves better than I do. Queens of the Western Ocean by Carl Cutler. Here's the end papers. Hard to hold up there. I don't want to damage the books. The story of America's mail and passenger sailor lines has a foreword by Chester Nimitz. Those of you who've heard of like Nimitz class Navy ships and all that will know Nimitz as a American hero of World War II, naval hero. In fact, I'm reading a little bit of him right now because I'm working my way through Samuel Eliot Morrison's multi-volume history of World War II, U.S. maritime or naval operations. Look at this. So this just beautiful volume is United States Naval Institute. Did I go back by the, oh no, the publication date is 1961. This is just a classic volume. Wow, I can't wait to dig into that. I think I'm having a pretty good day here. Wow. Oh, look at this. The Cruise of the Cachelot by Frank T. Bullen, illustrated by Mead Schaefer. Look at this beautiful thing. This is just magnificent. Work of art, the book itself, right? The Cruise of the Cachelot, Round the World After Sperm Whales by Frank T. Bullen, first mate. Illustrated by Mead Schaefer, Dodd and Mead Company, New York, 1928. Just an unbelievable thing. Look at the illustrations in this. I know I've been told that I need to hold the illustrations up a little longer when I do this sort of thing, so I'll try to do that. This thing's just gorgeous. It has these little type. Who is not thrilled at the breathless adventure, the mighty battles between man and whale? Of course, we look at that different now, right? So, it's when you overdo things and just don't think about the consequences. But that didn't make them any less great sailors, and they lived in a different time, right? The compelling awe and wonder of the sea, that doesn't change. And the miraculous escape of the hero in this greatest of tales of the whaler from the pen of an Englishman, illustrated with 12 full-color plates by the Mead Schaefer, who personally visited many of the scenes where the story is laid. This edition will immediately take its place in the most attractive and beautifully made presentation of one of the great sea tales in the language. I love whales. Not a fan of whale hunting, but I do know it's part of maritime history. I've had the good fortune in the Pacific Northwest to swim with the gray whales during the migration. I've had orcas come up alongside my boats, and just stunning and beautiful animals. I have seen a blue whale at sea in the middle of the ocean when I was on a ship, but I have never seen a sperm whale. And and there's plenty of types of whales that I haven't seen, but this is a time in history that it's going to be interesting to read about. I do know about this book. I have never read it. But what a beautiful production, huh? Yeah, amazing. And that, my friends, well, I'm going to have to be a little careful doing the Steve pyramid here. I try to do them somewhat by size so I don't have a disaster on my hand. What an amazing book. What an amazing gift. So, yeah, right here. Look at that. So you have Queens of the Western Ocean. You have the, I went backwards on that. The Cachelot. You have Mutiny on a Bounty. You have Beyond the Capes, about exploration. You have Mutiny on the Globe. And then you have Alan Villiers, by way of Cape Horn. What a haul, right? So, and some of these books are amazingly beautiful. So thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it. And I'm on my way to the post office. So thank you, BookTube.